Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K&B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop.
10 long years. Now it's over. What up, y'all? It's K&B the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe. This is the Sexy Ninjacast, the podcast all about K&B's loves, interests, life, the struggles, all of it, baby. And we're going to talk about one thing that's been part of my life for 10 years. Holy guacamole, now it's over. The mini podcasts, mini video vlogs, mini reviews of the movies, everything, even movie commentary, all on the Dceu. And if you don't know what that is, it's the DC Extended Universe, all starting with a little movie called Man of Steel. And all the way down to the hashtag released the Snyder Cut, the book that was released upon that, what happened to that movie when Josh came in and butchered it to the one we got, the 2-hour version. Then we finally got our win. We as nerds, fellow nerds, put our flag in the ground. We got the what Zack wanted, a 4-hour epic of the Justice League. So many mid-credit, end-credit scenes that will never, ever be paid off. Announcements up the ass when Man of Steel came out. Then after that, they're like, Batman versus Superman. We're like, oh, okay, we're just jumping right on in, aren't we? Then they're like, there's Wonder Woman, there's Green Lantern. They were like, we are going to contend with the Marvel Universe. We ain't fucking around no more. Man of Steel landed, superhero landed into our lives, and it was a movie that was met with different reactions because it wasn't your typical superhero film. It was a little bit darker. It was grittier, especially with a character that was just so, Boy Scout. And there's a lot of people that are fans of Superman who saw that movie and was like, that ain't Superman. Superman don't kill. Snapping Zod's neck, and this is where it all began, the debates. And then all of a sudden you're hearing the backstage drama out of Man of Steel, how it came out and everything like that. Going into BVS, when they announced Batman versus Superman, they announced that this Batman's going to be 20 years in the game. He doesn't like Superman and this and that. It was like, oh, okay. And as we're building to it, because just real quick, Man of Steel, I love this movie. I love that movie. I really think it's a solid movie. I really think it does pay off in the end. And I've debated people all the time about him killing Zod. And I was like, I felt this was a moment of his human side of making a choice and making a decision to save that family. Yes, he could have flown up. We've all argued this. But it was a moment of he is it was his humane side, not even his humane side, his emotional grip of I need to do whatever I can to save the good in this world. And Zod wasn't stopping. Zod pushed him to that edge, and this was the Man of Steel we got, And I really liked the take on it. I was like, okay, I'm for this. I'm for this, and you had that beautiful Hans Zimmer music with it, too. Oh, then you get into BVS, and I remember going to BVS with Doug, and we heard all the backstage politics, all the drama, all this and that, and, it was just one of those things where it was just like, okay, this is the theatrical cut. And then when you watch the movie, even on opening night, I don't think we went opening night. I think we did, maybe we did, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Saw the movie, and both of us were like, oh, okay. I guess then to come out and say, oh, no, guys, the studio made me cut it down to this. Here's my cut. Then hearing him, he called it the Ultimate Edition. It became a 3-hour movie. This is the movie, and then you watch that. I remember when it came out, I was so hyped. We watched it. I was like, wow, this makes so much more sense. You cut out some key elements of that movie, unless somebody at Warner Brothers came in and just chopped it up and said, here you go. And the real enemy of this whole thing is Warner Brothers. The constant, and then going all the way into Justice League and Zack losing his kid, and then getting kicked off, like basically taken off the project and giving it to Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon took Zack's stuff and filled in all his Jossy stuff, and and when that movie dropped, it was like, oh, and me and Doug, it was like, I'm going to something I love so much, and I love DC. Of course, the MCU is great. Marvel's awesome. Marvel, like some of my favorite things are from Marvel, but the DC universe was one of those things that I'm passionate about. I love. And so when I go to a Justice League movie, I was like, wow, that was cool, I guess, And there's some things in the Joss cut I dig here and there, but not the whole thing. The whole thing was like, oh, they just like brighten it up. Some weird jokes, make the Flash really stupid. Even though he's a forensic scientist, let's make him stupid. This and that. And then when we got the Snyder cut of Justice League, the 4-hour epic, and it's night and day, and then Josh version, you gave us the shitty Steppenwolf, and then in the Zack story, it's like, oh, okay. And we were introduced to this big world in BVS, and the Ultimate Edition is the only one I watch. And every time I watch that movie, there's more things I find about it. And then I remember the day. I know where I was at. I was at work, and I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan. I've said this before. If you've been riding with us, if you're new to a Paper Saber universe, welcome with open arms. I'm KB the Sexy Ninja. I'm a big nerd. I love things, and if you like pro wrestling, you go check out the New World podcast, or you just want to hear a big fat nerd guy talk about nerd shit and stuff he loves, you're in the right place. The Sexy Ninjacast. So, and this podcast was formed out of, we just saw Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. You can check out that review with Doug. And I was so happy. Like, not only did I go see the movie with Doug, Big Daddy was there. My brothers were there, and my brother was with his girlfriend. We haven't had that because, we used to go to all these epic premieres and stuff like that as a unit, man. We always took the front row. We always bought our tickets and advance, man. And this was one thing, like I'm on a Christmas break because of my work. We follow the academic school year for the campus here in Flagstaff. And I was just like, hey, I'm going to go see Aquaman on the premiere night, and I want to go see this with Doug. And Doug's like, hell yeah. And then I called Big Daddy. He's like, you want to see this movie? Yeah. And I bought his ticket. I was like, let's go. Then my brother texted me. He's like, yo, we're going to that show too. I'm like, all right, man, you better go buy your tickets because, it might sell out. Not the case. He bought them day of and still got to sit by us in the front row, and we had a good time. Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom is basically my review is don't hate it, don't love it, but I like it. It's cool. But it just got me thinking over and over, like, man, all the debates we had. Me and Doug, you can watch those too. There's some on the Pop Flicks playlist on YouTube. There's podcasts dedicated to this, and I was so adamant of like, I want the Snyder cut, and Doug was like, fuck you don't get the Snyder cut. We don't do this. We don't get alternate cuts of these movies because, it was just a big debate between me, Doug, and Big Daddy was for it, and then when he saw it, and then when they're like, it's 4 hours, and everyone's like, what the fuck, like 4 hours, and then everything that was supposed to spawn from this, and then we had Suicide Squad, which I saw the first time, and I was like, this just seems like not Justice League, Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff, but with characters I love, and I was just like, big debates on that. Big debates on the fact of like, hey man, Joker should have been the villain, not Enchantress. No, not Enchantress at all. It should have been Joker trying to get Harley and going to war with the Suicide Squad and Amanda Waller. That would have made a 10 times better movie. Then there's that movement. God, movement. the David Ayer cut. The Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, what he wanted. He said, yeah, there's all this. We got introduced to a new Joker, which I kind of grew to like. And the Suicide Squad movie itself, it's not perfection or anything like that. It finally grew on me a little bit, but the soundtrack's so off. Then Wonder Woman came out. It was a breath of fresh air. I saw that movie. I was like, oh, that's so great. But, it's definitely like kind of really close to Captain America with the origins and whatnot. It's based in this wartime and everything like that. But I really do love that first Wonder Woman movie. Switching up to 84, 84 is good. It's not as good as the first one. And this is when Patty Jenkins was on this high, and Rogue Squadron was supposed to be a thing. They even released a video. That didn't become a thing. And then, you got The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, where he dipped his toes after being fired, from Disney for over some controversial tweets he put out there. Then he got The Suicide Squad. I love that movie. We got Peacemaker, the show, and everything that's going on to the shows themselves, man. They were making their own universe. Like, all right, you got that Snyderverse. We got the Arrowverse. So life was good, man. It was like, okay, I got all these things, but the movies themselves, like, you just constantly heard in the background, Warner Brothers comes in. Execs are like, oh, why this? Why this? Why this? They got to sell toys. They got to sell products, right? And that's where everything came down. And then, nothing was hitting, nothing was clicking, and DC became the joke. And that really sucked for me, because anytime we had talks, we're like, you see the Marvel movies? Oh, those Marvel movies are good. Now it's kind of to the point to where everyone has superhero fatigue. Everyone's burnt out on superhero movies themselves. So, and then now Marvel's not doing so great as well. And everyone's just like, yeah, we're kind of done. We got this formulaic stuff. So that's why with the DCEU being over, I just think of it like, damn, all the conversations, all the arguments I have had. And then you get a good movie like Blue Beetle that comes out. And then you got that Flash movie, which I came out of the theater like, what the fuck happened? But I liked it eventually after a couple of times watching it. And I'm it's just one of those things now I can go back and watch these movies, Wonder Woman and the Suicide Squad, David Ayer's Suicide Squad and stuff like that. But I think that was the thing that made me really sad, was we had the Batman movie, the Ben Affleck Batman movie that he was going to do, where Deathstroke was going to come and fuck up his life. And because at the end of Justice League, and they did it in Joss's version too, Lex is on a boat and he tells him like, hey, Batman is Bruce Wayne. And, and all these things. And we had Martian Manhunter, which was really supposed to be Green Lantern, and Zack's cut at the end of, there's so many things that are like, oh, and then we had Shazam, which was really fun. And I kicked myself in the ass not seeing that. Then Aquaman, the first Aquaman movie, I remember seeing it and I was just like, what are we doing? Like, we had Zack setting the tone for this universe, and then, all this flip-flop with Zack, and then, is just like, hey, this is post-Justice League, so this Aquaman, we're going to brighten him up. We're going to put a weird soundtrack. We're going to have Pitbull's Africa versions of that song and everything like that. We're going to just do that, and then, brighten up. We'll make Atlantis like Wakanda, and, It was like backtracking, like, where are we going? And then when Zack finally got to do his cut of the Justice League movie, it was like, oh man. And then the campaign of save the Snyderverse. Let's see where we go, because so many topics and debates of what the second movie and third movie was going to be. And, Kevin Smith even said he sat next to somebody that worked on those movies, and Zack had this epic thing. Yeah, we get this movie here, and they beat Steppenwolf. Second movie, Darkseid comes, they go to Apocalypse. Get their ass handed to them, and Darkseid takes over the world and everything like that. So that's the post-apocalyptic, scene we get with Batman in the BVS movie. And, and then, remember that weird scene with Flash? He's like, she's the one, Lois. It was like Darkseid was going to have Lois get killed, and, they hinted at her being pregnant. So, that was going to send Superman over the edge, and he was going to join Darkseid, and we were going to have the Green Lantern Corps show up and help. And then everyone, with this post-apocalyptic, and then we go into the third movie where the Justice League get back together. They band together. They get back, and they finally defeat Darkseid. And I was like, oh, my God, a 3 epic, get their asses handed to them, Empire Strikes Back style, sad, everything like that. No, none of it never happened. Zack did the best he could, too. He gave us a snippet of what that post-apocalyptic universe looked like, and that really great scene between Joker and Batman, Jared Leto's Joker. They took off all the tattoos and stuff like that, and I remember everyone hating on the tattoos. I didn't mind them. There's a really great joke on Teen Titans Go where they're all imitating their favorite Jokers, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, then Robin does Jared Leto's Joker. Hey, never do Jared Leto Joker, never. Oh man, and that I think that's what's so great about this. And now that the door's closed on it, and even Zack says, "Hey guys, I moved on. I got Rebel Moon, which I still need to see. Netflix has been a pain in my ass, but I still need to see." And there was debates about Netflix buying the rights to DC just so Zack can come over here and finish what he started. And it's all gone now because it's over. I think that's the thing that sparked this podcast is it's over. The DCEU is done. Now we got to wait 2 years for Superman Legacy for the DCU. There's Monsters and Legacy or Monsters or something. I can't remember. Gods and Monsters or something like that. Chapter 1. We got an Amanda Waller show. We got the Superman. We got the Green Lantern Corps show. We got all these things planned out. But it's like, why don't we just stick to, before we start announcing things, why don't we just have it come out? Because there's an old photo out there of the things they announced once BVS came out. Because BVS came in, hit hard, made a shit ton of money that first weekend, and one of the biggest fallouts that next weekend, just bam. Just a hardcore drop. And I think Ant-Man Quantumania did that as well. Because the film wasn't received well, and everyone shat on Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's tone and films. It became what it was. And with the Flash movie, and the Aquaman movie, there's a scene at the end where he's telling the world about Atlantis and he's explaining. And I was like, you know what, James Gunn, I know that you want to end this universe. I know that you wanted to put it, in the dirt, buried, dead, gone. Let's not talk about it anymore. That's where we're putting it. You just to say goodbye to this universe. I was like, man, you could have had Bruce sitting in Wayne Tower, Ben Affleck's Bruce, Ezra Miller at the Central City in the lab, and Diana at the museum. They're all watching the TV. Even if you couldn't get Ray Fisher back or something, just to say goodbye. And I think that's what makes you sad in The Flash, because you get that one last little Wonder Woman, Flash, and Batman all together in that really cute scene with the lasso of truth and whatnot. Then we got the Shazam movies where we're like, oh, Black Adam, right? We're going to get Black Adam. Oh, shit. The Rock is Black Adam. John Cena's Peacemaker. We're going to finally see these two. Nope. And in that triumphant return of Henry Cavill coming back in that post-credit scene in Black Adam was one of those things, and where Amanda Waller's like, hey, you don't do it, we're going to send someone in. And Black Adam's like, go ahead. And then you got Henry Cavill Superman. And I remember being like, oh, shit, what are we doing? And then it's like, oh, shut. And the Shazam, the second one, it was like, oh, we got the Justice Society. And I was like, okay. It's one of those things where I think I love the post-credit scene I love the most at this moment in my brain is the one in Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, because it wasn't leading anywhere. It led back to a joke that was earlier in the film where Aquaman tells Orm, hey, eat this cockroach, you're good, blah, blah, blah. He eats it. Oh, you ever have a burger or a beer? That's what you need to have, Orm. Then he finally goes again because he's hiding out because he's dead. And he eats the burger, and he's like, and he sees a cockroach, and he puts the cockroach on the burger and eats it. He's like, yeah, it's a really cute scene. But I'm driving my wife crazy too. So, and if you saw the thumbnail to the show, wherever you're listening or watching or anything like that, I got really inspired to make something to say thank you, Josh. I got all the Funko Pop figures I could, and I want them in accurate costumes. I didn't want them from the specific Zack Snyder Justice League movie or the Justice League or anything like that. I wanted them in the current, like, actual, suits and everything. So I got the Flash from the Flash. I got Aquaman from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But I believe my Superman and Batman are from the BVS set. My Wonder Woman is from the Wonder Woman set and everything like that. Cyborg I had to get from Justice League because that's the only one I could find. Got Darkseid from that Zack Snyder's Justice League collection and everything they did with that. And this kind of sucks that I really wish they released Martian Manhunter. Unless they did and I couldn't find him, but that would have been cool. That would have been cool to see him fight with them at the end. I remember too, all the sparks of like, unite the seven and whatnot. And I was like, well, where's the seventh member? I was like, where's homie? Where's Green Lantern? My boy never gets love, man. He never gets some love. And I remember when they announced with this new Superman movie coming up, they're like, oh my gosh, Nathan Fillion's going to be a Green Lantern. And I'm like, oh God, really? Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. He's going to be Guy Gardner. I'm like, what the fuck? You know how long I've been waiting for Nathan Fillion to take the role of Hal Jordan for the longest time, and then they're like, nope, he's being Guy Gardner. I'm like, what the fuck? But it's been a fun ride, and I'm still gonna watch those films all in the DCEU. Hopefully, they can put them in a nice, cool box set. I got the Zack Snyder trilogy. I'm doing that in quotations and stuff like that. And the Zack Snyder trilogy is Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's the end. It's crazy. It's just crazy to say it out loud because Marvel keeps going, and DC just never really got their foot in the door on the whole multiverse thing. We probably won't see a Justice League movie for a very long time, And I remember when the Justice League movie was going to be like the Zack Snyder's next project to BVS, I was like, oh shit, you showed us Aquaman, you showed us Wonder Woman, you showed us Cyborg, you showed us Flash, and then seeing Martian Manhunter in his final cut of the movie, which was supposed to be Green Lantern because they did shoot some scenes with this actor that was going to portray Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, and at the end scene, if you don't know what I'm talking about, at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Bruce wakes up and he after his nightmare, after he wakes up from the nightmare, and he walks out and it's Martian Manhunter, and he's like, hey, if you ever need anything, I'll be here to help you, and blah 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 blah. He takes off. That was originally supposed to be Jon Stewart and Kilowog, and then they fly off. And, that was supposed to tease like, hey, for the second movie when they go after Darkseid and then they get their asses handed to them, and then we get the nightmare, future and everything like that. That's what that was supposed to lead into. But for some reason, Warner Brothers is like, you know what? We'll give you your fucking movie, but you're not putting Green Lantern in it. So with James Gunn's universe, it's going to be a show, and I don't even know if we're going to get that. So I think everything is banking on the Superman Legacy movie itself, and he has a lot of characters. He's already announced the cast. He's already announced, they're rolling, man. They're in post-production. They're rolling, and they should start filming next year. We'll probably see leaks here and there, but Warner Brothers needs to stay the fuck out of James Gunn's way. Let the creators create. Let them do let the filmmakers, and this is why I look up to like a guy like George Lucas, because he was so against the studios. And sometimes these poor directors, they get so bombarded by the studios themselves, and they're like, we're just trying to make this movie. You look at all the directors, Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman 84, that was shat on because that was a shat upon movie, and I love that movie. So the audiences are split, and at this point, there's really no audience because look what's happening to Marvel. Then now Marvel's taking it back, like, okay, we're gonna do Deadpool 3 next year, and that's it. We're gonna see if we can re-spark this bitch to reignite the love for superhero films. And Warner Brothers did the same thing. They shut the door on the DCEU and said, all right, James, you better make sure that Superman Legacy movie is the shit. So everything's riding on that. And how many interpretations of Batmans and Supermans we got, all the way down. It's crazy how many Flashes and now how many Spider-Man actors, it goes on and on and on. These movies ain't going to stop because there is a core audience, and those are people like me that's like, I hear some people like Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi, let the past die. And I'm like, no. You know how long I've been waiting for this? You know how long? Been waiting a while. But it's crazy, y'all. The DCEU is officially done. And if you haven't seen Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, it's a fun ride. It's a little bit all over the place, but the end of that movie where he's like, I'm the king of Atlantis, and I'm Aquaman. He goes out, and I was like, all right. Me and Doug were laughing because you know how they always like, blah, blah, blah is going to return or whatever. We're like, we thought the Aquaman will not return. And even Jason Momoa just went on a tour saying, like, yeah, this is it. It doesn't look good for me to, be this character again. He was this character for 13 years. And now it's done. And, everyone's thinking he's just going to go flip over the James Gunn's universe and be Lobo. And Zachary Levi says some things, too, especially about Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother. He's going to be Maxwell Lord in his universe, and Zachary Levi's like, hey, if I was the brother of the guy that's in control of this universe, yeah, I'll have a spot in any movie, and that sparks some outrage. Like, oh, hey, man. But it's crazy, y'all. You can check out my podcast on when all this was announced by James Gunn and everything. I break it down. I even have a chapter it's season 2 episode. I can't remember, but it's in there in the archives for the Sexy Ninjacast. If you want to find it and make it easier, if you want to rock with us on YouTube, come to YouTube. And a lot of stuff coming for 2024. We're not done yet. Rebel Moon review is going to be coming here soon when I get to it. A lot more stuff. New World Podcast, Sexy Ninjacast. It's all coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Also some reviews for some chilies I found and stuff like that. Some hot sauces, some food and stuff like that. But that's it. That's all. I hope you can check out my short film, too. That was shot by my brother, and I did everything else, the editing and music and all that. It's called The Photo. It's as soon as you go onto the YouTube page, you can do that. Or you can just rock with us on Spotify. So just check us out on Spotify, everywhere. Anywhere and everywhere you get podcasts, you get the Sexy Ninjacast New World Podcast. Just look for a Paper Saber Universe. We also got a beautiful new logo by Katie with me in an awesome pose with a shield and the Paper Saber riding high, baby, looking awesome. And that's going to be coming onto the t-shirt store. I kind of got locked out right now from the Pro Wrestling Tees store, but don't worry, I'll get back right on it, and then we'll be good to go. I'm looking at making a website and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff is coming, and I'm ready to go. Ready to go. Tell me what you think of this rant about the DCEU and how it's over. What was your favorite memory of these movies? I gotta say mine personally was once I got my hands on that Ultimate Edition. Once I got my hands on that BVS, now I love that movie more than anything. So, and I remember when Ben Affleck was announced, I think I was going on about that. When he was announced, everyone's like, what the fuck? Ben Affleck, blah, blah. And then when BVS came out, they're like, that movie was shit, but goddamn, that's the best version of Batman we've gotten in a long time. That warehouse scene, come on. So, drop those comments below, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with the bum down at Walmart. You can check out all the podcasts that we've done on the Snyderverse, all the DCEU, the movie. Check out the Pop Flicks playlist. We also have a movie commentary there. And I hope you enjoyed the Pop Flicks archives I've dropped for y'all for Endgame and for the first Aquaman. I found those. I was like, I have to share these. These have to be out there. So, all right, y'all. That's it. That's all. I'm K&B, the Sexy Ninja. Like and subscribe. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself a sweet NWP logo. There's a K&B, the Sexy Ninja logo. There's going to be some more logos on that store coming very soon. 2024, let's kick down the door. Yeah, let's go to war. All I know. And remember, stay sexy, ninjas. Whoop, whoop.
You're late, you fucking dickheads. Go fuck another fish, asshole.
I'm so fucking sick of that rumor.
It's not a rumor.
Fuck you, Barry.
Welcome to the wicked shit.
Oh, yeah.